Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to another live stream here today. We kick it off with a donation from Mean Gene. Kimmel assumed because Tyler Robinson was a white male from Utah who could shoot with rifles, he was MAGA. Yeah, I don't know what this was. I reacted to this yesterday, and of course, I wasn't surprised that Kimmel just blatantly lied about Tyler Robinson saying he was MAGA. This was on Monday, by the way. So it wasn't even like, you had the liberal coping sesh. The assassination happens on Wednesday. They say, oh, it's a white man, so he must be a conservative. They were saying that by Friday. Then it became obvious by Saturday he's a leftist. And Kimmel says this on Monday. And it gets so bad, they're like, we just have to remove him. I mean, this is just so pathetic. This just blatant lie. Just not even trying to be anywhere close to truthful. Not even trying to give yourself an out. Just blatant lies, and then talking about Donald Trump not caring about Kirk being assassinated. It's really evil, sick stuff. And even the leftist producers, I guess, had enough of it. So we'll wait for some more people to get in here, and I'll play what he said. I played it yesterday. I didn't think he'd get removed because of it. I just figured it's typical liberal copium on the assassin. This is kind of what they do. Liberals already back to calling this fascist. What, removing Kimmel? Kimmel, if anything, got removed by probably liberal producers and liberal executives. I mean, listen, when you mock someone like this and you just blatantly lie about it, you're a grown-ass man. You need to learn some... Doing this thing, it's like he's a fucking teenage liberal. Just overdosing on copium. The issue for me with what Jimmy said is that it was factually inaccurate, not so much being insensitive. This sounds more like a timeout hiatus because they said off-air indefinitely. Yeah, we'll have to see. And it's unfortunate these liberals take this route and they just blatantly lie and try and manipulate. They're manipulating their own audience. Yesterday I said the blind leading the blind. That's really what it is. It's a manipulation of your audience. That's why so many of these liberals are so stupid. Because they're listening to people like this. And now Kimmel, they're going to try, maybe it'll just be like a two-month hiatus or something. I don't know. And they'll try and let it simmer down. I am surprised, honestly, that this is what would get him taken off. Maybe this was a long time coming. Maybe there were other things at play and this was the final nail in the coffin. I don't know, but Kimmel just blatantly lies here, so we'll go ahead and play this.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving on.
So he says, oh, MAGA is trying to say that Tyler Robinson is anything other than one of them, insinuating he's a MAGA. People are complaining about free speech. It's not free when you work for a company. No one should cheer on anyone being harmed. Erica has filed a lawsuit against ABC. Well, this has nothing to do with free speech. This is obviously CBS or what is ABC. This is obviously ABC, and they're not too happy with this situation. You can't blatantly lie like this to your viewers in a propaganda sense. They're not going to like it. It's a liability. It becomes a liability. This has nothing to do with free speech. There's a lot of things Kimmel could say that are technically protected under free speech, but they're not protected under keeping your job. Obviously, the contract is a different ballgame from free speech. He can say whatever he wants about Charlie Kirk and not go to jail unless, it's something to do with like violence against people specifically. And I believe in free speech completely, but obviously this is a different scenario. You're getting paid 7 figures, maybe 8. He's probably getting paid 8 figures a year, probably $20-30 million, whatever it is. And so, look, there's obviously stipulations in contracts. It's got nothing to do with free speech. He can say whatever he wants. He's not going to go to jail, but there's going to be a consequence if you're, I guess, blatantly lie to your audience like this, and then you try and underscore it. And it does surprise me this is what it was. I don't know if ABC was really facing some heat or something, or again, maybe there was a number of things with Kimmel. I mean, Colbert is already gone. So now it's Kimmel, it's Colbert. Who's it now? Who's it after that? Conan O'Brien? My lookalike? Really? Is it Jimmy Fallon? Is he next? Yeah, I saw the rate cut. The rate cut was expected, but they said they're going to cut more rates. There's going to be another rate cut. So I think they're going to at least do one, possibly two rate cuts over the next two meetings. I think they're going to do. I think the interest rates at the end of the year 2025 are probably 3.75. Your 84-year-old father-in-law watches legacy news all day. He's radicalized now and made comments about Trump that could get others fired. You think liberal media really has claws in older people? Yeah, well, that's what we realized with the election. If you look at the demographics, the boomers are really not that conservative. It's more 50-50. I think Trump won boomers by like 1 point or something. So the really older people are more, there's a lot of them tend to be rabid liberals. And, they're more prone to watch CNN. There's a lot of really old white, husband and wives who are childless that are rabid liberals. I've seen a lot of that. A lot of Caucasian, like 75-year-old childless husband wives, and they're just rabid. They hate Trump. They hate MAGA. It's a typical story you see. It's obvious that Kimmel was one of many who were contributing to the culture war. Well, sure. I mean, when you've got that much viewership, and he's political. You do this this comedy show, but everyone's political now. You do the late night show, and a lot of them go in a political direction. And Kimmel was clearly liberal. I think what is his show based out of California, Los Angeles, extremely liberal. Colbert, extremely liberal. Fallon, I don't think dips as much into it. I also think Fallon is liberal as well, but look, it is what it is. I mean, it is a blatant lie. And this is really what they've been doing. They've been blatantly lying about this. They've been saying it's some type of right-winger, and it's just a complete falsehood. They're just not paying attention to or ignoring the facts. And we knew this really, by Friday? Maybe even Thursday of last week, we knew this was a leftist. It's really not John Oliver. There's so many of them, man. You've got John Oliver, Jon Stewart. Those guys. I don't even see those guys on it. Do they even have like cable shows? I feel they're probably just like it's fucking online streaming bullshit. Watch the video of Kimmel crying after that's embarrassing, dude. You're a grown ass man. That's like 3 days after the election, too. He's like fucking crying still. He's crying like a baby. I remember that. He looks like he's crying here, even on this still image. Keith Olbermann? Well, Keith Olbermann does not have a show. There's no way they'd give Keith Olbermann a show. Keith Olbermann, his life was destroyed by Trump. It's a common story we see with elderly white people. Same thing happened to Rosie O'Donnell. Same thing happened to Rachel Maddow and MSNBC. Their lives have been destroyed by Trump. Hassan and Destiny should be investigated. Yeah, but what do you really get them for? I think a lot of their stuff is free speech, man. I mean, you could say incitement to violence, but they do it. They the way they word it, I don't know. The free speech umbrella is pretty large. Now you could say, well, they should ban them off of Twitch or whatever live stream app they're on, whatever live stream social media they're on. You should they could be banned off of that. But an actual prosecution against them seems like a challenge. Free speech is very vague. It covers a lot of stuff. It's not. Did you see Vance's big rally today? No, I'll take a look at that though. Don't forget who created the precedent for accountability culture. Yeah, I know. And then the left says, well, you guys are hypocrites. And then the right says, you guys are hypocrites. And I mean, it is true. They created it. We criticized it. We're using it, you know. But I do think it is a little bit different. Like, they get us and they try and cancel us for saying the N-word or for being racist. I mean, it's a little bit different when you're making fun of somebody's death like this. And especially somebody that died on video, and you're mocking the way he died, and you're laughing at his family. I mean, that's a little bit, that's more of a demon, evil type behavior. Your issue with Kimmel is that most of remaining viewers, he has a radicalized leftist, so he needs to throw them these bones to keep the bare minimum ratings. Yeah, and I also think it's just a cope. I mean, it's very clear this kid was a deranged leftist. It really hurts their argument. They talk about the right wing and the far right and how dangerous it is. And this is a major, I mean, this is the biggest assassination we've seen in I don't know how long, and it was done by the far left, or it was done by a leftist wing individual. And so it really hurts their argument. So a lot of it is just cope to try and kind of lie in the weeds and manipulate the situation and really throw cloudiness on whoever it was. But this could just be, I mean, you've got to think in terms of this dude and the information he's getting it and where he's getting it from. You know, there's producers have to be extremely left-wing as well. And so the information Kimmel is probably getting, regurgitating to the audience, is extremely left-wing. It's all left-wing. It's an entire operation. And they don't have one person that says, hey, this is probably not smart to say. It's Monday night. We have information this kid very, very likely, not even very likely, is a leftist. Maybe you shouldn't say this. But also, I wonder where ABC was getting pressure from as well to have this happen, because it just happened to Colbert, and Trump was extremely happy about that. You think it could lead to a civil war? Yeah, I mean, when they get to that point, I don't think this death would lead to a civil war. I mean, you could say, well, this was one of the launching points if the country continues to get more hostile. I think the right and the left are certainly at an all-time low in terms of cooperation overall, and especially with the reaction to the death, it's just gone. It's gone to where they're like polar opposites, and we're gonna have to hopefully the country calms down, because we don't want it to go anywhere close to that. But liberals were happy people were getting fired for not taking a jab. Yeah, that's true. And that's the other thing is, you know, these streamers like Destiny and Hassan, look, me personally, you know, it's whatever, but I think you should be able to say stuff and not get banned. I know what they say is bad, but a lot of it is protected. But the issue is it really is a double speak. I mean, these guys say this stuff that's a million times worse than what conservatives said about fucking the COVID vaccine and medicine. And you had so many conservatives get banned off of YouTube in 2020 and banned for the BLM comments in 2020. And these guys say stuff 10 times worse and nothing happens to them. We on the right are mad. We don't care no more. If they want to cancel us over words, we will do the same, eye for an eye. Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, you know, I'm not a big fan of the cancel culture, but I do think when you're talking about, I mean, a lot of these people come out and they do videos on it. And so it's like you got your face in the video of you gloating this. You don't think people are going to show that to your employer. And that really is what the cancellation is. It's if you become a liability for your employer, you're going to be fired. But also it's a terrible character trait. I mean, this is a political individual. The idea that this would cause you joy to the point to where you post it on social media with your face in it, that's someone that really, as an employer, you really shouldn't want the employee working for you at that point. I mean, it's just a terrible characteristic you can have as a person. You heard Destiny is getting banned on Twitch. No, that was that was a troll. I actually didn't even know he was the one that tweeted it, but he was trolling people. He already got banned on Twitch in 2022 or 2023. but I thought it was someone else that did that to try and get clicks, but it was actually him. But he posted that to troll conservatives. Another lie. I'm shocked. Have you reached out to ABC to see if they would give you the? Yeah, I don't think that's my style. I don't think that I could be a Conan. I could be the Conan 2.0. We're both ginger. Tyler's texts were from 9:10, and he mentions photos of the rifle being seen on the news. The thing is, those photos weren't released until the next day. Well, I don't know. I'd have to see that. I think the photos got released very quickly. I do. And also, it depends on the time zone. You know, their mountain time, so that could have an effect. I don't know the exact time the photos were released. But dude, I really don't think that's the FBI. That just seems ridiculous that they would make up an entire conversation like that. I know people don't trust the FBI at all, but trying to be like real about it, it just seems like making up an entire conversation is absurd. Especially when it's so fresh like this. I mean, why would they not just if they were covering this, why would they have this much transparency? It's not cancel culture when these people are your waiters, nurses, teachers, and they want you dead. A little different than saying a no-no word. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I say they cancel you for supposed racism or whatever versus gloating that some innocent dude died because you didn't like what he said. I mean, that's terrible. That's not something that we should support in the United States. And these people seemingly support it. I don't really know a Republican. There's no conservative equivalent. And then the other thing is, and these Republicans have to understand in terms of arguing this, they've gone to these statistics and these studies. The studies really are irrelevant. If you want to say Republicans cause more violence, what does that even mean? Violence against who? Where are the top Democratic leaders getting shot at? They don't exist. We're not doing that. It's their side that's fomenting it. And then it's not even just Trump and Kirk getting shot at. It's them gloating about it and saying, yes, it's justified to shoot them. That's really the difference. Like all this bullshit about we've done surveys on political violence. Really, I don't know a top Democrat that's had a gun pointed at them. Like this is complete false equivalencies. What are you talking about? Political violence against who? A random person? Don't you think it's a little bit different when it's against Charlie Kirk and Donald Trump, two of the most important people within the conservative movement? And obviously, I'm not saying that, there should be any violence against Democrats. I'm saying it's clearly different between conservatives and Democrats when you look at the top people. And they bring all these bullshit statistics like, well, some random Democrat got victimized in 2002, so that means Republicans commit more violence. I mean, that's basically what they're saying. My brother in Christ, when are you going on Timcast IRL? I don't know. I've never talked to Tim before. Progressive turds don't make punch a Nazi or other violent revolutionary type rhetoric within their own circles for no reason. They always meant citizens, us, and with a low threshold. Right. And that is an important distinction. And that is a important statement, I should say. When they say punch a Nazi and then they label all right-wingers a Nazi. It's 100%. And so it's justifying violence kind of in secret. Like, oh, we just mean the really bad ones, but let's label all their key thinkers the really bad ones. Let's label Charlie Kirk a Nazi or a fascist. I mean, they don't even know what the words mean. I mean, if Donald Trump's a fascist, why does the Constitution still exist? Why is he not suspending it? Why is he not suspending Congress? Why is he not doing all this stuff? Why are low-level judges who have won 1/1,000,000th of the power that Trump has ruling on Trump executive orders? Why would he allow that? These people are not making sense when they call him a fascist. All right, we'll see some of these updates. Yeah, apparently Vance had a pretty big apparently Vance had a pretty big rally today. Free speech advocates on the right now have a lot of heavy lifting to do. Yeah, but this has nothing to do with free speech. He got pulled because he blatantly lied. And obviously, this is an ABC thing. And again, if you become a liability and you're lying to your audience and you're making the corporation look bad, it's a problem. People get fired because, I mean, they get fired for a lot of things when you're an on-air talent. When you're an on-air talent, you say the wrong thing, you get fired. It's not necessarily a free speech issue. It's, well, you can't blatantly lie to your audience. It's going to be a bad look for ABC. And so if it's a bad look for ABC, they're going to have to, they might just suspend him and let him calm down. I don't know, but it's really not a free speech issue. It's not like the Trump administration is going to arrest Jimmy Kimmel. That would be a free speech issue. It's a false, again, it's another false equivalency. And it looks like they're pivoting to that now. Only one side is using hate words like Hitler, fascist, Nazis, evil devil. Yeah, I mean, Republicans really don't use any. They say communists sometimes, communists, leftists, but Marxists. But yeah, there's definitely more inflammatory remarks and vocabulary from the left. The internet is so crazy. If you were using Reddit or any left-leaning platform, you would think the Dems win every election. I swear bots go crazy. Well, Reddit is insane. Look at Our Politics is a big one. White people, Twitter is another big one, where they're just complete liberal echo chambers. There's really no other way to say it. And I mean, there's definitely right-wing echo chambers as well, but Reddit has been captured 100% by the left, and the right had a presence on Reddit, but you know, they would ban a lot of the big, I mean, they banned the Donald before the election, and before Trump's first election, they banned the Donald. So whenever the right wing would try and get a big subreddit, it would just be banned, and now they're only allowed to have conservative and a few other small ones. I haven't been on the conservative subreddit in forever, though. If Charlie Kirk passed in a plane crash or something, there would be a little leeway, but the way it happened, there's no room for such insensitivity. Yeah, right. The thing is we all saw it. It's a visual thing, and especially considering it was a leftist. I mean, that's, I had said right after it happened, obviously, whoever did this, depending on their leaning, it's going to have a big impact. If this is a leftist, it's going to be a big problem for them because they've been obsessed with this whole idea of this far-right political violence. They're racist. They want to do terrible things. And this is the biggest assassination we've seen in the social media age, and it was done by a leftist from the idea of liberals fomenting hate against Charlie Kirk, and it's the exact same terminology. Look at what he said to his boyfriend. He said, Charlie Kirk spreads hate. Hate cannot be negotiated with. And that's really what a lot of times liberals say things like that about Kirk and about other conservatives. And so this is a slam dunk case of leftist ideology going awry, and someone like Kimmel can't cope with it. And see how they're trying to like twist it and manipulate it in this free speech? Well, no, this is ABC, has nothing to do with free speech. Did Trump arrest Jimmy Kimmel for saying that blatant falsehood? He didn't arrest him, but there's going to be a consequence. People are not going to be happy about that, and in turn, it's really, if you do a bad job at your, if you say something, you know, Kimmel's job is an entertainer, and it's to spew words and say funny jokes, and if you do a bad job at that, there's going to be a problem. I mean, I don't know if it's free speech or what. Like, free speech is on the basis of the government arresting someone for talking. So, listen, it is what it is. When you say stuff like that, you're going to be a liability. It's a blatant lie by Kimmel, and it's not necessary. It really, there's no reason to do it. There's no reason to blatantly lie when you have information. We obviously have information. We've had information that the kid's a leftist. He clearly is. I'm still seeing people like Destiny. The coping is just, it's an overdose. The copium is just, it's out of control, where they try and say, well, we don't know if he, you know, they say he's not trans. Okay, he's got a trans boyfriend. It's pretty close. And so it's this just constant manipulation to where they try and, because it's a bad situation for liberals, 100%. It's a terrible situation for them. Is the Jimmy Fallon off-air thing in all states? Well, he's not going to be appearing anywhere. He's not on. Oh no, Jimmy Fallon I think is still on the air. Or are you talking about Kimmel? Jimmy Fallon is still on, I think. I mean, I don't watch the late night guys, but if you're talking about Kimmel, Kimmel is just off in general. It's not a state versus state thing. They pulled him. Liberals really outraged at this? I mean, the guy obviously is lying, and his job is to be funny and people. If you're bad at your job, his job is to say words, and he said a bunch of false words, so he got reprimanded. I don't know what boo hoo. I don't know what to tell people. Larry, thank you. I'm glad the right is finally figured out. The left will use the right's principles against them when the right has power and ignore them when the left is in power. Time to play by the left rules. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what Trump ends up doing. He's got a mandate to do some serious stuff with this assassination. And so the question is, well, you don't want to squander it, but what do you do? Is there's probably going to be there's going to investigate these liberal groups, and I don't know what's going to come of that. I think a lot of this is trying to cut off the funding apparatus to many of these left wing organizations. I think that's the key. I don't know what that looks like legally or politically, but the key is to try and during these investigations be able to tie a lot of the funding to some of these leftist groups that maybe helped foment someone like Tyler Robinson to think that Kirk was so terrible that he had to shoot him. And then you can try and eliminate the funding, eliminate the apparatus, the liberal apparatus, and try and affect as many as possible to make it harder for them to really have groups and organize. Because listen, what they're doing is they're creating this hate, and obviously it created this kid. At least I think, and we'll see what the investigation says. I mean, I thought the text messages were pretty ridiculous, but because the text message will say, well, he just randomly did it. Now, obviously, the text message isn't the full story because we don't know what happened before then, but he's basically saying he spent a week thinking about it and then did it. I mean, come on. It seems a little far-fetched. Seems like something you would spend a little bit more time thinking about if you're going to fucking assassinate Charlie Kirk. And it's something that festers, and I mean, there's got to be a real hate in your heart, and where does that hate come from? It probably comes from, liberal online spaces, trans online spaces, something of that nature. But they're trying to investigate it, and we'll see what ends up happening. Mean Gene, thank you. Wow. A $200 donation. Thank you. You're telling me thank you for bringing groups of conservatives together. We need to support each other during these times. That's a great donation. I appreciate that. You've been a big time donator. That's a big one. $200 donation. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. You're not a conservative, but you think it's funny that being canceled is now being used against the left. Not so fun now, is it? Right. No, I know, and they're gonna say it's hypocritical, but again, conservatives could just say in the reverse. Well, this is what you guys did at a much worse rate with just like racism stuff and like saying bad words. And a lot of it was like looking back 10 years. They tried to cancel Joe Rogan for saying the N word in like 2009. Like that's how ridiculous. And then you don't want to get the COVID vaccine, or you're using fucking ivermectin, so you should be canceled. Like what in the fuck? I mean, you think these people would be against like capitalist monopolies like in the healthcare business and Pfizer, but they like sucked their dick the entire pandemic. It's strange. I don't know. Thoughts on the Bojanka plot? I've got a video on that. I think I might have two videos on that. But it was a crazy plot. I mean, if it would have been successful, there probably would have been no the Twin Towers would still be here, but who knows what would have happened. Jimmy Kimmel said nothing wrong. Well, obviously he said something wrong. He's fired. But he blatantly lied. Happy days, tides in the country are turning. Well, we'll see. We'll see if they're able to band together with Kirk and. I mean, obviously Kimmel saying it. It's just he did it himself. I don't know what to tell people. I don't know why they're coping so much. How is crypto reacting to the rate cut? People are going to say it was priced in, but crypto, I think with the way the rate cuts are going, they're going to be 0.25 cuts. It's going to be 3, I think, 0.25 cuts till the end of the year. So eventually these rate cuts will have an impact. People are going to have more disposable income. It's going to be more helpful. It's a better economic situation. So the immediate reaction might not be much because people say they're priced in. I mean, obviously, if there was a 0.50 cut, it would surprise people. It'd be extremely bullish, and there'd probably be a shoot up in price for Bitcoin and a lot of the top alts. But I think with the rate cuts we should see, it's gonna be good for crypto. But it was kind of priced in, Pete. So I mean,
go ahead.
I'm interested because are they sending everyone home? You know what's happening on the scene. You know, the show would have been taping within the next hour, so people would be there. Yes, this is very abrupt, very abrupt.
Ahead,
and this
Brian.
is all about jawboning. It's all about public pressure. You know, actually revoking FCC licenses is extremely difficult. I wrote about this last fall when candidate Donald Trump was talking on the campaign trail about wanting to punish stations by taking away their licenses. And throughout the history of the country, ever since we've had
that is correct. Talking about Josh Shapiro got his mansion burned down by a leftist, a Palestine supporter. Shapiro's Jewish. And then Shapiro tried to use that as like there's violence on both sides. A leftist burned down his mansion. And he tried to say there's violence on both sides. Did the Fed act too late on the rate cuts? Yeah, they did, mainly because they got faulty labor job numbers that are just not even close to accurate. They should have cut months ago.
broadcast television, license revocations are extraordinarily rare. Once you've got one, you're pretty much guaranteed to keep it. So the threat is not that the FCC is actually going to take away a license. It's about the public noise. It's about the shame and embarrassment. It's about Brendan Carr going on podcasts and embarrassing ABC. You know, there's a term for this. It's jawboning, and that's what we've seen happen today in a very real way. Trump vowed retribution on the campaign trail. And he's getting it. He's getting it against entertainers and comedians. But Aaron
Yeah, but I don't think this is comparable. I mean, Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Charlie Kirk was assassinated and they made a statement. It's not necessarily have to do about the campaign. This was the rally?
People are celebrating Charlie's killing.
It's disgusting.
They're saying he deserved to die. How do you wrap your head around that?
I would ask you, if you were the kind of person who feels joy at the death of a grieving mother and grieving children, what bad decisions have led you to where you are today, and why don't you get back on the right path?
If these evil people don't repent and continue to revel in the murder, what should be the consequence?
Look, we have a First Amendment in this country. The First Amendment protects a lot of very ugly speech, but if you celebrate Charlie Kirk's death, you should not be protected from being fired for being a disgusting person.
That's the thing. I mean, you know, I think the First Amendment's going to protect a lot of this stuff, but obviously the firings are not really. It's an independent thing of the First Amendment. The First Amendment protects you from the administration arresting you, but obviously, if enough people get to your employer and then you become a liability, that's kind of how it works. Don't go on Reddit. Lots of idiots saying Trump ordered the assassination. Same for Nick Fuentes. Oh yeah, Reddit. The political side of Reddit is really bad. I mean, I do go on Reddit, but not the politics stuff. Certainly not the politics stuff. It's just a bunch of liberals. I mean, it's like 90%. The platform's 90% liberal. They ran conservatives off and they banned a bunch of the major subreddits like in 2015. It's really bad. Trump says he hears Jimmy Kimmel is next. Even less talent than Colbert. Greg Gutfeld is better than all of them combined, including the moron at NBC, who ruined a once great Tonight Show. Who's at NBC? Oliver? Same people who said, parroted, freedom of speech doesn't equal freedom of consequences suddenly don't understand it. They don't understand the consequences, right, Timmy? They don't seem to understand the consequences. But look, I'm for free speech, but obviously this is very raw. People are gonna, you celebrate something like this. It is evil. It is disgusting. And I think just in general, whether or not there's this storm of people, the idea that you would celebrate a death of someone because they said words that you didn't like, especially the death, that was so public and so disgusting, and the guy's 31. I mean, it's an unfortunate thing, but I mean, it's a vile, vile act. Remember the liberal argument, you can say whatever you want, but it doesn't mean you won't face accountability for it. Exactly, now eat it up, fuckers. Right. If this country is dumb enough to elect Democrats in midterms and give them back Congress, I'll be so disappointed in the country more than I am, LOL. Well, I mean, the midterms are still over a year away, so we'll have to see. They very well could take the House back, the Democrats, but I wouldn't predict it right now. I wouldn't predict the Democrats take it. We'll have to see what happens with the advantage Republicans get with the gerrymandering and stuff like that, and I mean, it's hard to say the exact effect that Kirk will have, but I think this will be a thing that galvanizes the right, and it is a big storyline going into the midterms, even though they're over a year away still. I'm wondering, was this the guy that people said was giving the weird signals in the hat? Because people always do this stuff when there's these, just like with the Trump assassination. It's like there's a weird person in the crowd giving signals, and I don't know if this was the guy that was doing it or not, but obviously I think it's ridiculous, but the people always say stuff like that. The Charlie Kirk trial will be during the midterms. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we'll see if they give him the death penalty or not. They're pushing, their prosecutors are pushing for the death penalty. I know that. I don't know. I don't know the exact timeline of the trial. I don't think there is one yet. Leftist liberals got so out of hand with their rhetoric, they asked for this backlash. Right, and it's just they're just gonna squirm and cry even more now that they're getting it.
I have a rule of thumb, though. When they say it's both sides, it's their fault. Because when it's your fault, they just say it's your fault. You follow me? So every time you hear both sides do it, you know they're culpable. Because when it's our fault, they never say that. They just go, it's your fault. So remember that. Also, I want to go.
You said John Fetterman should watch his back. Liberals despise him. Yeah, he is the lowest approval rating out of any senator, I believe. John Fetterman, according to liberals, because he's like a moderate at this point. There's probably a bunch of Vance clips. Did you see the Nick Fuentes calling the Fuentes update to Count Brown because they're pissed at him for not blaming Israel. Well, you know, he's got a lot of fans that are extremely anti-Israel, and they think Israel is involved. You know, I saw a big tweet, and it had like 40 bullet points in like the 4chan format trying to tie the Kirk assassination to being Israel's fault. I don't think so, man. I just don't see it. But you know how it is. There's always a way to do it, especially nowadays, and they kind of have that narrative of Kirk was turning a corner. But it doesn't make sense for Israel to want to do that to someone like Kirk, even if he was turning a little bit. More so, I think, because of the young people were turning so much.
You talk to the shooter's mother, you talk to the shooter's father, you talk to the local district attorney, you talk to the FBI director or the deputy director of the FBI. You look at every ounce of evidence that we have, and it is clear. This is a person who grew up in a pretty normal family, actually had a pretty good home life, who was radicalized by the far left, by the social networks of the far left, by the ideas of the far left, and got so far down the path of radicalization that he killed my friend. That is not a both sides problem. My friend is dead because of left-wing political radicalization. And if you want to cut that out, then be honest about it and look yourself in the mirror.
What did he say? If you want to cut that shit out? And then Fox bleeped it. Jimmy Kimball's rules for thee, but not for me. Well, I mean, it seems like they're trying to spin this as a First Amendment issue, or they're trying to spin this as a free speech, like, it doesn't make sense. What he said was, and the thing is I saw what he said and it was completely false, obviously, but I thought nothing would happen. Well, maybe there was some pressure on ABC. We'll see how long it lasts. I don't know. It's suspended indefinitely or taken off the air indefinitely, whatever verbiage you want to use. You still don't trust the CIA government when it comes to Mossad, Israel. You bet this is going to lead to more online safety bills being signed, Texas bill censorship, and the credit card censorship. Yeah, what Pam Bondi said was really concerning. They were trying to use the Kirk death to push censorship, you know, and just like against anti-Semitism. It's real bad stuff. I don't know what that was, but a lot of conservatives criticized Pam Bondi for doing that. But we do need to be diligent when it comes to what they're trying to push. We should. I mean, because this is our administration, we shouldn't have to do this. But some of the stuff they try and push is very pro-Israel. It's there's like anti-Semitism stuff. You know, that's everything to do with Israel when they bring up anti-Semitism. But I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. Looks like Trump's in the UK. There's a few clips of Trump in the UK. Are we getting more college football videos? I don't know what to do. I do the picks video. I don't know what other videos to do, honestly. Comments under the MSNBC video of Kimmel's suspension are like, why do the Republicans always get away with it and the left doesn't? I don't even know what that argument is. I mean, the guy just is blatantly lying about this. It's not a good look. They decided to suspend him. I don't know what to tell him. You got to be better at your job. When you blatantly lie about stuff on purpose to mislead the audience, it becomes a problem. It becomes a liability. Thoughts on 6'7" meme? I'm not into TikTok culture, man. What is with these glasses?
Director. And frankly, when people sit around and say things like, oh, you know, we're happy because now we feel safe. I don't know who feels safe in this country except for the white supremacists, because I specifically as a black woman definitely don't feel safe.
But But didn't she call Charlie Kirk a white supremacist and he was shot in the neck? Where did she get those glasses from, Mark Cuban? Caleb, I appreciate that, man. Multiple police officers were shot in York County, Pennsylvania. I wonder what that's about. Barack Obama blaming Trump for political division, using Charlie Kirk's assassination as an example. What happened to King Charles? Trump mogging the hell out of him here. Holy shit. Trump with an easy mog.
Charlie was an exceptionally talented individual. People don't realize how integral he was, how important Charlie Kirk was. He helped us staff the administration with solid people like Secretary Chavez DeRemer. He made sure that when we hired somebody, that it was a smart person, but it was also a kind and decent person. You see him at these college events, and he would talk to anybody. He didn't care if you were a Democrat, a Republican, a liberal, a conservative, if you supported the Trump administration or not. He felt that the most important American political virtue was to just get out there and talk to our fellow Americans. And I hate to say that a week ago, he was doing what he did best, he was doing what he loved, and an assassin gunned him down for daring to say things that that assassin thought were wrong or shouldn't be said. Well, I think I speak for every person in this room, and I think I speak for a majority of our fellow Americans when I say we do not attack or commit violence against people because we disagree with their ideas. We debate ideas, and we're going to keep on debating them in honor of the great Charlie Kirk for as long as I have a microphone.
This is too early. This is a 2028 campaign. The 2028 campaign for Vance. Do you think live audiences will come back? They're already back. They're already back. I mean, there's going to be up security, but it's like the same thing happened when Trump got shot. You know, he had the bulletproof glass for a few weeks, and then I think he took it down. So it's just something, you can't live in fear. You need to have proper security. You need to do your due diligence, but they're going to still go out and talk to people. Yeah, guys, please like the video. Please like the live stream.
I want to say just one thing about my friend Charlie Kirk. I want to talk about Charlie Kirk for a little bit. And the last group I want to have be recognized here is we have got a
Vance
lot
is
of
growing
kids.
his hair out, I think.
And I hate to call you kids, but when you're 41 years old, you guys are kids. TPUSA is a great organization founded by my friend Charlie Kirk that takes the message of free speech and conservative values all over our college campuses here in the state of Michigan and elsewhere. And we've got some proud TPUSA folks here. Would you guys stand up and be recognized by the crowd? We love you. We love these kids, and we love the organization that was founded by Charlie Kirk. And I know I speak for all of the kids behind me, all of the great TPUSA members, and also the alums, that over the past 10 years, Turning Point USA has not just been an organization, it has been the fountain of a movement all across the United States of America. If you look at just the youth vote in 2024 and how much young voters shifted from Democrat to Republican from 2020 to 2024, Charlie Kirk created a movement. And that movement made Donald J. Trump the President of the United States, and it made me the Vice President of the United States. I would not be here without Charlie.
Yeah, I mean, there is a massive shift if you look at the polls. 18 to 29-year-olds in terms of shifting to the right, shifting very far right. If Charlie was shot in a different place and survived, would he have put up bulletproof glass like Trump did? I don't know what he would have done. I mean, I think he would have still debated for sure if he would have been all right. They would have had significant upgraded security, I'm sure. You know, people are questioning, and look, I don't know how these processes go in terms of, I don't even know if it's called a crime scene. I don't think it is, because it's like, obviously we know they would know who did it. But did you see the scene of the crime, the scene of the assassination? They dug out all of the grass, I guess because it was dried blood. So they dug out all of the grass. It's probably like 6 feet worth of grass across the width. And they've already poured in the new concrete. And so I think it's going to be some type of statue or memorial. I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be. Trump just labeled Antifa a terrorist organization. Well, I mean, he's always said that. And that's something that they can do because of this assassination. They can label Antifa. I haven't heard a ton about Antifa in the past 4 or 5 years. But, you know, we'll see what this kid's relation to Antifa, or if it's another group, or if it's maybe a combination of a number of these leftist groups. Went to look up a video on the York incident, toxic comment section. Well, I mean, it looked like 2 officers or 3 officers got killed, what somebody was telling me. That sounds terrible. They were serving someone a warrant or something. They're trying to hide it from the public eye. Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit strange with how fast they covered that up with concrete. It's just weird that they did that fast. What happened to Venezuelan conflict? It's still ongoing, I believe. They're sinking drug boats as far as I can see. I don't know. They want some type of influence in Venezuela because of the oil reserves. They got like 25% of the world oil reserves. And also, they do have an illegitimate government. Basically, the socialist government cheated in the last election to stay in power. But I mean, that becomes you know, our interference with that. It's like, is there a point to it? We'll see what happens. I don't think Powell cannot be fired, or he'd have to be removed by Congress. But I don't think it's going to happen. It would have happened already. They would have jumped on something. They tried to do something with Powell and the renovation. It didn't work. Yeah, this was it 12 hours ago. They're reporting the FCC was threatening Jimmy Kimmel ABC. And so that's why Kimmel had to be taken off, because the FCC was threatening to revoke their license. Glenn Beck on the Charlie Kirk show today. Bomb squad in Phoenix responded to suspicious package outside Turning Point USA headquarters. Huh. The left just doesn't stop. The only way Venezuela will stop is if the people rise up and risk their lives, salary. Well, you know, Trump has it at this point. They've got like a bounty on their leader. They've got a bounty on him. Robert, thank you for the donation. On Fuentes' show today, he said that there's really no motive for Israel involvement in Kirk's assassination. People are calling him an Israel shill now. Crazy. Well, those people, I mean, everything is Israel to them. All roads lead to Tel Aviv. All roads lead to Jerusalem. So that, you know, that's the audience. That's the audience. It's always Israel on everything. And so it doesn't, yeah, I don't really see Israel involvement here. I mean, there are a few happenstance things, sure. There's some meetings that happen, but I mean, overall, I don't really, logically, I don't think Israel would really want Kirk was an asset for Israel if everything, even though Kirk was changing his mind a little bit, maybe, I don't think Kirk was ever going to turn on Israel. I just don't see it. Kirk said that he wanted the biblical lands of Bethlehem and Jerusalem. He wanted them in the hand of the like Western powers, and he liked Israel. Rank every Labubu. I don't follow. I have a rare one. I've got a very rare one. No, I'm just kidding. Straight from Japan. Reddit. Oh. They got to testify before Congress. These people always have attitudes when these leaders of the social medias or the applications. They always get lippy. You still play Call of Duty 2? COD 4? I know people that play COD 4 still. I used to play BO1. I play BO1 Zombies. No one plays the newer games are total cash grabs. They're terrible. Justin, statue of Trump holding a giant Bitcoin set outside the United States Capitol. Really? Is that true? They got a new statue of Trump with a Bitcoin. Trump has really done some good stuff for crypto and some bad stuff, but I don't know. He's got a statue. That's a weird one. A statue with a Bitcoin. What is it? An AI statue? Will you make a video of Washington, D.C. and Minecraft tour? I mean, I'm take a look at it. Maybe I'll take a look at the what they've put together. It's a privately made and funded statue. Huh. No, it's real. Wow. Well, let's take a look at this then. Wow. I think they made him fat. Or is that just what he is? Now, he's actually not that fat for being old. But he looks a little small in this. This is odd. You got the Capitol there in the background. I don't know what to make of this one. Yeah, they made him really short. Oh man, Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin, I'll be honest. I love cryptocurrency. Trump does have a $2 billion meme coin. I mean, and he's got World Liberty Financial. It's like fully diluted 20 billion, I think. You see Trump's post about Antifa, it's official. Yeah, well, hopefully that's just the start, and then it's more, and it's really broad, so you can really implicate a lot of them. So hopefully Antifa's a terrorist organization. It should have happened years ago, really. I think Trump said that. Graffiti 321. Now with the National Guard there's not going to be any graffiti on that. Trump with a statue of a Bitcoin. Seems like people like it. Seems like people in the chat really like this. I don't know, man. It doesn't even look like him. That does not look like him at all. It looks like this was 3D printed or something. This was made in China. I'm your most famous person on the Xbox friends list, really? Yeah, this was for notoriety. This was a campaign. This is like an ad campaign or some shit, let's be honest. Why would you call us goys? That's insulting. You're calling us disparaging language. Dude, you're talking about your D-Money. I don't even know what that network is. You're talking about coins that are like $20 billion in market cap. Do you think we're going to get rich off of that shit?
If you are encouraging people to commit acts of violence against the United States government or against your fellow Americans, absolutely, you're involved in a terrorist movement. I don't know enough about that particular organization, but what you increasingly see, Jesse, is you see people in the trans community and other members of the far left who are saying they are so threatened by negative rhetoric that they must take arms and attack people. If your movement is telling you to commit acts of violence against people for speaking words that you don't like, number one, you're evil. And number two, you are engaged in a terrorist movement. And that's part of what we have to root out in the White House. And this is very important, Jesse. I've talked to a lot of people about this. I've talked to Stephen Miller probably 7 times in the past 2 days. We are working very hard to ensure that the funding networks for left-wing violence, that the radicalization networks for left-wing violence, that if you encourage or fund your fellow Americans or anybody else to commit acts of violence because you disagree with political speech, you are going to be treated like a terrorist organization, and we're going to go after you. If you are...
Well, left will say Trump banned Antifa. He's a fascist. Huh. Right, Antifa, the most fascist, anti-fascist organization. They say they're anti-fascist, and then they're the most fascist ones. They firebomb places, things like that. They're extremely terrible. They love political violence, Antifa. Jimmy Kimmel Show is canceled. Great news for America. Kimmel has 0 talent, worse ratings than even Colbert. Pleased to inform our many USA patriots that I am designating Antifa, a sick, dangerous, radical leftist actor, as a major terrorist organization. And he wants the investigation. He wants to investigate funding apparatuses of Antifa. Looks like. Thank you for your attention to this matter. The boomer has signed off. Way overdue. I know. This can't really be it. There's got to be more than this. Trump's got to do more than just this when it comes to Antifa. Trump knows this is a starting point. They really need to investigate a lot of these leftist channels, not just Antifa. A lot of this has got to be investigated. This should have been done in 2017. Right now, I agree 100%. It's 370 million in market cap right now. You've been telling you since it's 70 million. It's not one of your shit meme coins. Well, now you're insulting me. You're trying to show me something and then you're going to insult me like that. I'll take my business elsewhere when I see something like that. No, I'm joking. But how much of the supply is investing? How much of it's locked? No more Kimmel content for right-wing streamers. I didn't even react to Kimmel, honestly. But it's funny to see him get banned. Or, I guess, get removed. The GOP should fund socialist Democrats for midterms. The polls of Democratic Socialists versus Capitalists benefits GOP. Yeah, I saw that CNN thing. But I mean, I only think Mondani. I mean, I don't know what other socialists are even have a chance for the Democrats. It's really just Mondani. But even that's a mayoral race. So I think Mondani's going to fuck up New York City. It's going to be a problem for them. It's going to turn people even in New York City to the right, or at least more moderate. Go to King Charles clips.
Justice exists for both the people who repent and ask forgiveness. Justice also exists for people who don't repent and don't ask for forgiveness. I really do hope that the person who murdered Charlie Kirk eventually accepts that what he did was evil and terrible, but we still got to have justice anyway. And I think that for the people who are celebrating Charlie Kirk, look, we have a First Amendment in this country. The First Amendment protects a lot of very ugly speech, but if you celebrate Charlie Kirk's death, you should not be protected from being fired for being a disgusting.
Yeah, I think I've seen that.
It's statistically absolutely bonkers. The idea that left-wing violence and right-wing violence in 2025 in America are equal, it's preposterous. The statistics don't bear it out, Jesse. You ask what percentage of political liberals believe that political violence is sometimes justified? It's about 1 in 4. If you ask young conservatives that same question, it's about 1 in 25, which, by the way, is still too high. Right. It should be 0, but the problem is much bigger and much more malignant on the far left. I saw something, maybe it was the ADL or one of these ridiculous organizations that said that right-wing violence is as common as left-wing violence. And then you go and look at the data and you say, what is it that you're causing right-wing violence? One of the things that they called right-wing violence is literally a gang of black Americans beating up on a Mexican guy. Well, yeah, if you categorize everything under the sun as right-wing violence,
Yeah, but they don't even let them use that qualifier, and they're trying to manipulate it. Obviously, we all know the biggest people in this country getting shot at are right-wing conservatives. Liberals know it. Conservatives know it. We all know it. So when they do this thing to where they're like, well, this black guy came from Mexico and beat up this Hispanic woman, and it's conservative violence, and that doesn't work. So let's not even get to that point with these liberal studies that say conservatives commit more political violence. What about BLM? Was that political violence when they had the most property damage out of any riot in U.S. history? Really? And that was done in the name of BLM and liberal leftist causes? Ouch.
You can make your point for you, but that's BS. Nobody's buying it. Look at the way they're celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder. Look at the way that this assassin was radicalized by left-wing and probably trans-related stuff. Look at the way that even if you're not committing an act of violence, you are supporting those who do. You see that so much more on the far left. And I wish my friends who are on the left would just look themselves in the mirror and accept that they have a problem. Yes, absolutely. By all means, let's take down the temperature. But if you want to take down the temperature and you're on the left of center, the first and most important thing you can do is look in the mirror.
Hey, libtards, whatever happened to it, they're a private company. They can do whatever they want. Well, exactly. But it's not even a free speech thing. Kimmel said things that were really false, and his job is to be an entertainer, a speaker. When you speak like that and it's that false and it's that demonstrably untrue, you're going to face repercussions. You don't just get to say and then free speech. Isn't that with free speech? You said some stuff that was completely false, and it's evil. And J.D. Vance, not his best still image, but...
Well, one way you wrap your head around it is disgusting evil. What kind of person looks at a grieving young mother, at 2 beautiful young kids, and feels a certain sense of celebration? And I actually think, I don't know if it's a couple people, I don't know if it's thousands of people, but I would ask you, if you were the kind of person who feels joy at the death of a grieving mother and grieving children, what bad decisions have led you to where you are today? And why don't you get back on the right path? I really believe that there are people who recognize that the joy that they're feeling, the celebration they're feeling at Charlie's death, is evidence of evil within them, and they have to.
Well, you think he's Luigi Mangione? I don't really see it. Maybe the hair is similar.
Extinguish that evil. I think that. And I've even seen some social media posts where people have said, you know, I was feeling kind of good about this guy dying, and now I realized that meant there was something wrong in me. That's another way I think that God is speaking to people through Charlie's death, is these incredibly evil people celebrating it. We're seeing it. We're seeing that evil in the public eye for all to see. But I also think people are turning away from that evil because they recognize that it is so opposite of everything good and true and righteous in the world. So I was in my office in the West Wing. The vice president actually has a couple of offices. There's the executive office building office and the West Wing office. I was in the West Wing, and I just finished a meeting with somebody. I'm not even sure who. And I looked at my phone, and there were a bunch of group chats, frankly, a lot of them that Charlie was in, where they said, Charlie, praying for your brother, hope you're doing okay. And then I opened up my door, and somebody said, Charlie's been shot. And it kind of hit me like, oh my God, this is very real. This is very serious. And, you know, what happened over the next hour or so, I'm guessing, is, you know, we knew Charlie. It's called your body guy, your special assistant, the person who's always with you. And I had a very dear friend in the West Wing who knew Charlie's body guy. And so his name's Mikey, and he called Mike and said, hey, like, what's going on? And what was really, I mean, obviously, you know, the news was discombobulated. No one knew what was actually happening. It was a very chaotic moment, but there was a brief period where we were getting good reports from the hospital. And I don't know how plugged in you were to that.
I heard those
And
too.
so, I saw the initial video. I've only seen it that one time. I refuse to watch it again. I don't want to see that happen to my friend ever again. But I initially thought, terrible, terrible news. And then I started to feel kind of hopeful. And then, of course, we got the news from Mike that Charlie had passed probably about an hour before the rest of the world found out.
It always seemed like there was no way. Wow, he said an hour before the rest of the world found out. So was he dead on arrival? But then why would they do the blood transfusions? Antifa was declared by Trump in truth as a terrorist organization. Yeah, I know. I just saw it. Went over it.
And I was the person who walked into the Oval Office and said, Mr. President, I'm sorry, but Charlie passed. And that was a very, very tough moment. You know, Susie Wiles, the White House chief of staff, was in tears, and she doesn't show emotion. You know, she is even keel the whole way, and she was in tears, and I just gave Susie a hug. And I think all of us kind of lost it, and it felt like, you know...
You genuinely don't believe any of the hospital status updates that happened? Someone here is saying that they got a heartbeat back slightly, then lost it. Yeah, I have no clue what happened, but the only thing I know is that they said he was in critical condition, then they said he was stable, then they said he was getting blood transfusions, then they said he had passed. But Vance is saying that he knew an hour before, it was announced that Kirk had died.
It felt like we were all mourning our friend before any of the politics or the thought about, you know, what a titan he was and how influential he was to the movement. How do
They kept his status as critical until the whole family was notified, most likely. Yeah, that could be.
we possibly replace him? We were all just sad because our friend had died. And we supported each other in that moment, as you do with your friends. But man, it was a bad, bad day.
Don't think they ever said he was stable. It was a report. I mean, I don't think it was true, but... Yes, he was dead on arrival, but heard they got his pulse back and tried to save him, I guess. I'm not even sure how that works. If they declared him dead, but then they got his pulse back.
They said, oh, tariffs will cause inflation.
Wow, that's a lot of orange.
They've been wrong about everything. And
Absolutely.
well, these guys, and for the most part, they've said, Trump was right because we've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars at levels that nobody's ever seen taken in.
Yeah.
And so we've taken in all this money and there's been no inflation.
It's just been hard, I think, for them to admit it because it's not that you were right, you were very right.
Yeah.
That's the, you know what I mean?
Well,
Like, we're
even
at this,
right after Liberation Day, remember
it's
they
an-
tried to create this panic in the market. The market went down because they created so much fear. You called them panicking,
Sir,
and you were right. It all bounced back.
No, you called, there's a tweet. You called the absolute bottom. You posted on Truth Social, this is a great day. It was literally the bottom. And it's gone straight. It's up 35%.
That's right. I said start invest. This is a great day to invest.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I hope a lot of people followed it. A lot of people did, I guess, because you see what's happening in the market. No, it's been a great thing to watch. They had 71.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. When the video was so bad, and there's no way you could survive something like that. I don't even think if they were on scene. I don't even think they were on scene you could survive something like that. Because the amount of immediate blood loss is too much. It affects so much of the body.
One economists, and they put.
This is so bad the guys are glazing him hard. Yeah, well, he gave them an interview. It's like a podcast, and so it's basically a propaganda session.
Me in that group, and I just myself and one other person were right. Everyone else was wrong. But it's even more than anyone ever thought.
But when you posted that, were you thinking something or were you seeing something?
No, I just felt it was low. Yeah. I just felt it was low. I mean, it's more instinct, I think, than maybe anything else. Certain amount of brain power, but instinct maybe is more important in some cases. But I've had an instinct, and
most doctors said he passed immediately when he got shot and felt no pain. Yeah, I know. I've seen that in places as well. But I'm just saying in terms of declaring him and stuff like that, and what they were telling us, the reports. I guess the reports might have been bullshit, but
my instinct has been for a long time. This is what the country has to do. This is what happened to us. Other countries were doing this to us, but we are in a position where we can do it better, much better. Nobody is able to do what I'm doing now with this. So the tariffs are a big part. I think the spirit's a big part. We have great spirit.
most transparent FBI ever. Just like with Epstein. No, I'm not going to say that is. Oh, that's bright. Seen a lefty try and say the cop shooting is MAGA, can't anymore. I'd have to look at that. I don't know. It looked like it happened in a rural area, so maybe that's why they said it. But yeah, I don't know. Either way, I mean, police officers getting shot, that's definitely wouldn't really be. MAGA certainly supports police. Reddit is crashing out because Trump declared Antifa terrorist organization. Really, it's like the most tame thing he could do is declare Antifa, which, again, people are saying should have happened 8 years ago. A terrorist organization. The why didn't you order the flags to fly at half staff for Melissa Hortman? Argument is so bad. Tim Walz could have literally made the request. Why didn't he do it? I'm not, because Melissa Horton is, when it comes to something like that, has to be, you know, there's a lot of people that die. And I think there has to be a notoriety to have that distinction to fly at half staff in most cases. So that's honestly probably why. But they try and use that argument, and it's not even close to the same thing. Did you see ABC will air a celebration video of Charlie Kirk on Friday in place of Kimmel spot? Is that serious? Is that true? So that's like a full apology tour for ABC if that's true. I'm not watching this. This is 29 minutes. Have you looked into the very probable theory that Charlie was wearing body armor and the bullet was deflected upward? That's not a correct theory. No, it was a direct hit. I mean, trust me, that theory came out immediately after he was shot because of the way the shirt rippled. But he wasn't wearing body armor, and the bullet did not ricochet.
Many years ago, His Majesty opened his archives to a biographer. Among the documents was a letter from 19 1993, in which he described the patriotism and guided his many projects. He wrote that he was, quote, entirely motivated by a desperate desire to put the great back into Great Britain. In the finest tradition of British sovereigns, he has given his whole heart, everything he's got, to those parts of Britain that are beyond the realm of mere legislation. It's not easy, but which define its essence and its virtue, its harmony and its soul. It's an amazing calling, and there's nobody that's answered that calling like you have. A fifth of all of humanity speaks, writes, thinks, and prays in the language born on these isles and perfected in the pages of Shakespeare and Dickens and Tolkien, Lewis, Orwell, and Kipling. Incredible people, unbelievable people
Why is
like we
everyone
have
so old?
rarely seen before, probably won't see.
Yeah, Rubio was there randomly.
Therefore, as we celebrate this unparalleled partnership,
Wait, why is
allow
Trump
me
there?
to propose a toast to President Trump and the First Lady, and to the health, prosperity, and happiness of the people of the United States of America.
That's a hell of a table. Yeah, I know. The big news is Trump declared Antifa a terrorist organization. Finally, after like 10 years, it finally happened. What's your Roblox username? I'm not on Roblox, man. Roblox is like, I never was on Roblox. What am I, 12 years old? Well, I mean, now with the scandal that's come out, you know. Trump must have had an orgasm with the amount of gold there. It's an impressive amount of decor. It's very impressive. I don't know what's happening to Roblox. There's a scandal going on. I mean, once you get hit with something like that, it's tough to come back from. I think there's a big lawsuit going on against them. Some grooming allegations. Any idea what the ballroom will look like? Yeah, there's renderings of it. There's renderings of the ballroom. You can see what it'll look like. Not sure you heard about the case of singer D4VD being a suspect, with a 15-year-old girl remains being inside his car and having a relationship with her. I never heard of that.
I grew up in a community, you heard Secretary Chavez de Remmer mention this, that I grew up in a community where the American dream seemed to be disappearing, where the jobs were getting shipped overseas, where the factories were closing down. I remember driving around my hometown, Middletown, Ohio, and we'd see some abandoned factory, and my grandfather would tell me what used to happen there, what good jobs used to happen there, what good wages used to provide for families there, and I remember thinking, why is it like this? Why have our leaders ignored us for so long? Why are factories closing instead of opening up? Why are good jobs going to China when American workers deserve good jobs right here at home? And the answer was bad leadership. Just as our leadership chose crime, they also chose to ship your jobs overseas. Just as they chose to send our young men and women to foreign wars all over the world, they refused to stop the cartels that were operating right here in our backyard. And
You're saying South Park episode delayed? Well, didn't they take the one with Kirk off air? South Park took the one with Charlie Kirk off air. They're not playing it anymore, apparently, after his assassination. I read that.
I believe our sacred promise and our sacred duty is to make this country even better for the next generation than it was for the generation that came before. That is why we're doing the things that we're doing. But I want to tell you, I'm never going to forget where I came from. I am never going to forget that I was a little boy who was worried about why the jobs were disappearing. I'm never going to stop fighting for the auto workers to have good jobs right here at home. I'm never going to...
So it's a campaign speech for the Rust Belt.
Stop. I'm never going to stop, and neither is the President of the United States, from fighting for your public safety, for your good wages. We're going to fight for when you send $1 to Washington, D.C., that we spend it wisely. We're going to fight for you to have low taxes. If you're working hard, we're going to fight for you to keep as much of your hard-earned money as possible. Because I believe that the American dream belongs to American citizens, not to illegal aliens, not to drug cartels, and it doesn't belong to foreign workers. It belongs to workers right here in the state of Michigan.
Well, the campaign that Vance would run based on his upbringing would be a Rust Belt. It's a Rust Belt laden campaign, and the Rust Belt's an extremely important area. It's 3 very important swing states, so especially if he goes up against Newsom. I mean, it is very early, but if he's going to go out and campaign like this. Charlie Kirk's funeral on Sunday should have 60,000 plus people in attendance. Yeah, with the floor seating, it might be more. I don't know exactly. They already sold it out, you're saying? They sold out the stadium seating? I mean, I would imagine, yeah, obviously they're going to sell it out. Because think about it. Trump is speaking. Vance is speaking, I think. Tucker Carlson is speaking. Probably, like, all of the cabinet. Gonna be the biggest funeral in some time. Yeah, well, I mean, we haven't seen an assassination like this at all in the digital age. I mean, this is in the United States, at least domestically. Yeah, I know. I saw the thing about Antifa being a terrorist organization. We'll see what else they find. I mean, hopefully they find other stuff. He was in the SUV with Kirk, and so that was an eyewitness report. Did he say stuff about it? Is it on Twitter? Wow. They are actually airing a tribute to Charlie Kirk during Kimmel's time slot. Wow. Can you go live all Sunday and watch? I don't know if I should go live for the funeral. I don't know if it's... Like, I don't think I could really add much to it. It's going to be speeches and stuff, and... Who's airing a tribute? ABC stations. So that must be a serious ass whooping they got behind the scenes for that or something. Holy hell. No, it's on Friday. They're airing it on Friday apparently. So I guess the 11 o'clock Eastern. When does his show start? 11 o'clock at night, I think. He said Charlie was gone instantly. Yeah, I mean, I wonder what the autopsy will reveal. Apparently, they did an autopsy on him because it's a murder. They have to do it. It's like protocol. But I don't know. People asking about the funeral. $11:30 Eastern. That makes sense. The right celebrates that an extremist was fired. The left celebrates when a moderate gets shot. We are not the same. Well, I mean, this is just, I mean, it's the result of shoddy reporting, if anything. I mean, what he said was blatantly false, and it's a very sensitive issue. If that happens, you become a liability. You know, the corporation's not going to like it. This is a fundamental explanation on what happened to him. I don't know. These liberals are talking about, like, fucking, I mean, did Donald Trump go and arrest him? He got removed from a fucking talk show. He makes 8 figures a year. Boo fucking who? What do you want me to say? He blatantly lied and misrepresented to his audience. It's an issue. Like, it's not even remotely close with what he said. And that was on Monday night, so they had obvious information at that point. You think he wasn't instantly dead, passed out instantly, and his heart officially stopped beating in the hospital? Yeah, he would have been unconscious immediately. That's probably why there was hope to try and save him. Tickets for the funeral are free. It's first come, first serve. So they will continue to give out tickets, but if you're not early, you're out of luck. Well, they're still giving out tickets, you're saying? Are you from Arizona? You got AZ in your name. He said his eyes were open, but you could tell he was already gone. Seriously? $2,000 cameras with HD quality. I do wonder if there were other cameras. I mean, obviously their production has cameras. They're not going to release them though. They're very gruesome, I'm sure. I mean, we got like 5 angles. But a lot of that you have to understand. You know, that's a debate and it's very long. Those debate me stuff, you're not going to be recording. Like, you're not going to have 100 kids recording a 3-hour debate. That doesn't make sense. Just doesn't make sense for a bunch of kids to record a random debate when it's like a 3-hour long session. Oh, this is it.
There. Now, here's what Erica wants me to relate on Sunday. This is going to be the hard part, but maybe also the comforting part. Charlie Kirk was literally like a son to me. I have 3 sons. He was like my 4th son. My 3 sons are a little bit older than Charlie. He was like my 4th son. So when he was hit, if your son got hit, what would you do? What would you do? I got in the car. Because if there was any way I could save him, I had to do something. And I couldn't just take him. You guys got it. So they got him into the side of the car. It was an SUV. It was the SUV we took over. And I'm on one side, and there's actually some video of this. Somebody's taking video of this. I'm on one side of the car, the right side, and they're getting Charlie in. So I run over to the other side, but the guy who was dragging him in is now blocking that entrance. So at that point, I run around to the back. I pop the back gate open, and I jump in the back. The car lurches forward. Apparently somebody jumped in the car. So the car lurches forward. So I almost fall out of the car, or the SUV. Then I grab the thing and close it. And there's 5 of us in the car now. Justin is driving. Dan is up front with the GPS. Rick has got him. Rick's on my left, and Brian is there, and I'm coming over the back seat, and Charlie's laid out in front, just right in front of me. And Charlie's so tall, we can't close the door. We drove 4 miles, I don't know, it's 4 something miles, all the way to the hospital with the door open. To this day, I don't know how Brian stayed in the car, because we're just go, 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 go. We're trying to stop the bleeding. You saw it. And I'm yelling, come on, Charlie, come on, come on. Meanwhile, my phone is still on. My son and daughter-in-law are hearing this whole thing. And his security team, again, Justin, Dan, Brian, and Rick, they love Charlie. But they were much cooler than I mean, they're just carrying out, they're calmly, but they're swiftly doing exactly what they were trained to do. Rick starts praying out loud. I'm praying out loud. We're yelling, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. My son's hearing all this. And we're doing the best we can to navigate traffic. This is not a highway. We're on surface streets. And suddenly there's an ambulance coming toward us. And there was conversation in the car. Should we stop? We're like, no, just keep going. Just keep going. The doctor later said that was the right thing to do. Ambulance goes by us. We're still heading to the hospital, trying to get there. At one point, somebody says, let's get there in one piece, because we're cutting through intersections. We're just beeping the horn. This is not a emergency vehicle. There's no lights. There's none of this. And I go, we got to start CPR. So I try and start that. Now, Charlie wasn't there. His eyes were fixed. He wasn't looking at me. He was looking past me right into eternity. He was with Jesus already. He was killed instantly and felt absolutely no pain. That's what I was told later. But of course, we had to try. And by the way, there was just nothing any of us could do about it. We were giving him CPR, but nothing was happening. It wasn't like if we had better first aid or we had better medical facilities or we were faster to the hospital, we could have saved him. We couldn't. So if that's any comfort at all, Charlie didn't suffer. He was gone. He was with Jesus, absent from the body, present with the Lord. That's where he was. Now, it is true, when we got to the hospital and they started working on him right away, they did get a pulse back. And so Rick and I were just, everyone's praying. We're just praying for a miracle. We had a small sliver of hope. And the doctor later said that we got a pulse because Charlie was a very healthy man, but the shot was catastrophic. So 20 or 30 minutes later, the surgeon came out and said he was dead.
Wow. What a crazy story. How does that work? How were they able to get his pulse if he was already dead? But yeah, that's a crazy story. He's saying it was pretty much he was unconscious immediately and he was never conscious again. Defibrillator. They probably shocked his heart enough to get an extra pulse. Yeah, I'd imagine it's just desperation. It was unbelievable they got a pulse. Yeah, I mean, well, I'm guessing he's right. It probably had something to do with Kirk being healthy. Many are upset on Kimmel's cancellation. The guy is funny. Is he? I don't even think he's that funny, honestly. I don't watch Kimmel. If they got a pulse, he wasn't dead instantly. I think they manufactured the pulse, but it doesn't matter if he doesn't get oxygen within a certain amount of time. Very surprised he shared that info. It can be comforting to talk about it out loud, believe it or not, stuff like that. But yeah, that's a pretty crazy story. Inside the SUV, what was it? Just a random SUV? They probably were the closest thing. And the ambulance was coming to get him. Man, the ambulance was like a ways off if they passed it. Crazy they don't have medical on standby at an event like that. Yeah, but even then, I don't think it would have mattered. But I hear what you're saying, 100. I do. Driving 4 miles. Thoughts on Conan getting canceled? I don't think Conan talks politics at all. Yeah, Conan, I don't think really dives into it. I don't really listen to Conan at all. But I don't watch any of those shows. I don't really watch cable. Do you think they'll make a movie about Charlie one day? Definitely a documentary. I don't know. Maybe a movie in documentary form. I'm not sure. You can be brain dead and have a pulse, and that's what I'm assuming was going on with Charlie. But the system that pumps the heart still had a little bit of life left in it. Yeah, so something like that. Yeah, there's just no way. Isn't Conan your uncle? Conan O'Brien. What an Irish name. Shannon Sharp. Remember Shannon Sharp has that issue with the girl or whatever and got fired? I don't know. There are so many videos of him that I know, dude. I've been getting so many Charlie Kirk videos recommended and stuff. His videos have shot up so far, and his views and stuff have gone crazy. Conan went off on Trump at the Kennedy Center. Yeah, he's probably a liberal. They're all liberal, those people. But he seems to be less liberal than the others. He's Irish, man. Those people are very liberal. Doctor here, ask me anything. What do you think about them saying? So, do you think there's 0% chance of saving Kirk, no matter what no matter if there was a hospital right there? Do you think they could have saved them? I'd probably say no because of the immediate blood loss. Did you hear about how Ben left Ben and Jerry's because it's not left wing enough? Guess it's just Jerry's. Yeah, it's crazy. Isn't that a very left wing like they're extremely left wing. Didn't they support the BLM riots and all that shit? And he left because they're not left wing enough. Oh, I don't even understand what these liberals cry about nowadays. It's like, isn't he the founder and he left his own company because they denounced BLM or something? I don't know. Do you think it's possible they could have saved him if they had paramedics on the scene? If the injury is to the spinal cord, then no. You can't save him even if he was in the middle of the ER. Wow. Trump went on Jimmy Kimmel in 20. I thought he went on Fallon. Did he go on Kimmel as well? I thought it was just Fallon. But I don't know, man. Is Obama saying if he were still president, Charlie would still be alive? I just think he's trying to blame Trump. I mean, Obama already served 2 terms. He's probably saying if a Democrat was president. Did you see Michael Savage's? I don't even know who that is, Michael Savage. Late night rant about Candace Owens last night. He called her a black bitch and racist, etc. You have screen recordings? I didn't see that, no. You remember the eyewitness you interviewed that said Charlie's eyes went to the back of his head instantly? Yeah, I know. I mean, that's crazy he could see that. But then his eyes were open in the SUV. I mean, it's, you know, it's crazy. Thoughts on Joe Rogan? I don't know. Has Rogan had anyone interesting on recently? I haven't seen his. I saw he had Charlie Sheen on when the Charlie Kirk shooting happened. Kimmel literally cried when Trump won. He's a joke. Yeah, I know. I remember that. It is. You're a grown ass man, really. The liberal women crying doesn't surprise me. With something like that, it's embarrassing. Did you see Cash try and score some points back against Adam Schiff? Yeah, I saw the he was being questioned. According to the Sinclair broadcast group, Kimmel won't get his show back until he apologizes and makes a donation to Kirk's family. Wow. Do you think if Tyler was hot like Luigi, the left would accept him as their own? No, 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 no. This is a bad thing for them. See, with Luigi, it's less. That's less of a left versus right issue. The healthcare thing. This is a completely different dynamic. That's not the reason he's not being accepted. He's not being accepted because it makes the left look fucking terrible. Because it's a horrible action of political violence. So they don't want to accept it. That it's their person. Those are 2 completely different situations. The Luigi situation, they could say, you know, it's a healthcare and it's not, you know, I mean, you could say, well, it's capitalist in terms of healthcare, but it has a different message. They don't accept it, but they're celebrating. Yeah, but the smart ones are not celebrating. The smart ones are trying to put out statements of damage control, but then they are blaming Trump. I mean, Wasn't Luigi himself more right wing? At least his good. That's what his good. Yeah, he was all over the place. He was all over the place. I don't know exactly what he was, but it wasn't. I don't think he was right wing. You don't know who Michael Savage is? No, I don't know who that is, honestly. Somebody's telling me he's a boomer. You're pretty sure if the killer was... Yeah, but you're missing the point of... The dynamics of the killings are completely different. They have to cede ground if they admit that he's one of them, because that's a clear action of political violence. The Luigi thing is, they can say, well, I mean, that's not necessarily left versus right. It's like the healthcare problem in the United States. You have to understand the angles of these things. It's wild that people are still saying he's a groyper. Well, I don't know who's still saying that. The mainstream Dems that I see, they gave up that argument. Now they're trying this weird thing where they're like, oh, he's just like they were lovers. And do you see that dude? The question, the one dude was like they're trying to say he's like he was in love with his trans partner, and that's why he did it. It was an act of love. He carried it out against Charlie Kirk. That's what they were trying to say. I don't think I have it. Fuck. Don Lemon waiting for his interview with Piers Morgan. It didn't go well. Did this come out? Did this interview come out? The neighbor. Dude, that neighbor's a weirdo, man. You remember that video? The neighbor. The bicycle. I don't know, is this clip out? It's funny how immediately they tried to find a motive with the gripper thing, but now it's clear he's a leftist. Suddenly the motive doesn't matter. Now suddenly it's like this weird lover situation where they're like, well, he did it out of love. There was this black dude on CNN that was like, this seems like a romantic situation. It seems like he got his first boyfriend and he did it out of love. I hope you're... Hey man, what's up? I hope you're doing well, thank you. Still can't believe he's gone. Won't be able to see his uploads anymore. Have you thought about doing a virtual meet and greet? Bro, that might be the... that would be impossible for me to recover from. I do a virtual meet and greet. No, I mean, listen, I understand. Maybe I'll do a call-in thing. Maybe I'll do a call-in thing or something. I don't know about a virtual meet and greet. What are we going to be on Zoom together? They quietly removed the Groyper allegation without retractions. Shameless. Well, I mean, they're just going to say it's a developing story. So that they can kind of use that, I think. Trump on Jimmy Kimmel. That would have been a while ago, man. He went on there a while ago. Is Destiny facing any consequences for what he's been saying on TV and stream? No, it's free speech, unfortunately. I mean, no, fortunately it is free speech. It's protected. When it gets to the point to where I think it's an immediate threat, then it becomes... Holy hell, there's a spider. This is a... No, I don't think Digger. I don't think that would be a good name. That would not be a good name, man. Yeah, there was a spider on my desk. Small little spider. Now, I try not to... I mean, spiders are definitely, based on the history of humans, we don't like the spiders with the legs, because that's why they're so grotesque to us. Did you know we all accidentally swallow spiders when we sleep? Isn't it like 6 spiders, everyone? If you live to like 70 or 80, you swallow 6 spiders in total. I heard it was a myth. Snopes confirmed to be false. I mean, I think it depends. I think it depends on the person. If you sleep with your mouth gets open, maybe you swallow a few in your lifetime. I don't know. I'm not a fan of spiders with the legs. I mean, there is something unnerving about it. CNN is crying. I don't even know what they're arguing, honestly. What are they arguing? Freedom of speech, really?
That is why we exist. Not to knuckle under, not to do what we're told, but to stand up and to say, listen, if you want to pull these licenses, then we're going to go to court, and we'll be in the court of public opinion. But you don't get to go on a podcast and set policy for American media, for an American media institution that's been around a lot longer than me, you, or Donald Trump. This is a red line that has been crossed for our industry, for the First Amendment, for the right of people to speak. There was nothing hateful about what was said, and even hateful speech is protected. This is not acceptable. If you are going to run a media organization that's called a news organization, you have to stand up to government bullying anywhere in the world, and certainly in the United States.
Well, the job should be to, speak truth to power, even.
I think Jimmy Kimmel should be truthful and not lie. What if someone said that to her? What do you think she would say?
When there are people who don't like the word truth anymore.
Like Kimmel, because that's why he told a lie. That's why he's being canceled, right? So why would she say that rhetorical little jab? People don't like truth. Saying Trump didn't like truth. He just lied blatantly about Kirk's killer. Is there any mention of that? I guess not. What do you think of college international relation textbook blatantly calling Christianity U.S.-based white supremacist organization? I've never seen that. It's terrible. Bullshit, false, anti-Western slap. Trump Truth Social. I am pleased to inform our many USA patriots that I am designating Antifa a sick, dangerous, radical left disaster as a major terrorist organization. I know, I read that earlier. Cringe is canceled. Thank you for that, Max. I thought free speech protected you from your government, not your employer. It's exactly right. It's exactly right. Well, they're saying Trump bullied them into doing this with Kimmel. DC Council approved $3.8 billion renovation for RFK Stadium. How do we decide who's Antifa? Yeah, I think it's going to be a big umbrella. They're going to try and limit as much leftist, spread as possible. So it's going to be a very large umbrella. They could designate a lot of different movements as Antifa. The goal is to try and limit as much of it as possible. So if you just, any leftist movement, just declare it Antifa, and they're going to run into some problems. That's what Trump probably wants, if I'm guessing. Because, I mean, this type of leftist thinking is what did kill Kirk. We know now because of what happened with Tyler Robinson. And this is why it's such a huge problem for him. It's like the chickens have come home to roost. Your own movement caused this. You have to live with it. And Trump is going to have to hit back hard. The evil freak is literally from a super MAGA state, pro-gun, and all family members voted and donated to the president. Have you done research on him, though, not his family? Boy, you think these liberals would be smarter. It's like, you're so close. You're so close. But why is all of his family said he's a leftist, and he lives with a trans boyfriend, and he said he hates fascists and Kirk? You just need to do a little bit more research. It's like you're purposefully not including the actual perpetrator. Thoughts on California passing a law requiring face scanning for Google Play store purchases, etc.? Well, I'm not sure about that. I don't know if there's been something where people are getting away with purchasing stuff. I think it's bad when there's more involvement in terms of digital IDs and face requirements, because it's going to become more and more normalized now. You know what sucks? It wasn't even Charlie's own words that inspired this killer to act. It was manufactured hate by his own party. Well, that's part of the problem. That's why he's labeling Antifa a terrorist organization. Do you think Prop 50 passes in California? What is that, the gerrymandering, the redrawing? Probably will pass, unfortunately. I haven't seen a poll recently on it, though. Yeah, California does have a good young quarterback. You are right on that. You heard Android will be completely dead because they're going to force you to install apps through the official store, which was the biggest advantage Android had over Apple. Yeah, I've never had an Android, so I can't really. I've only had Apple. I've only had iPhones. I think iPhone is the most popular phone in the United States, anyways. But some people are sticklers for Androids, and Androids are known as a lot more customizable. I think functionality is more important than the customization of a phone. But people have their own preferences. Yeah, I don't know about Arch Manning. He's looked really bad. There's no denying it. A local university in California is hosting a vigil for Charlie today. You were hesitant to go because the university is known for Antifa members. Yeah, there's been some fights at vigils I've seen. You like Android's hardware more, but iOS clears as a software. Thoughts on girls thinking you're poor if you don't have an iPhone? I think that's kind of just ridiculous. Yeah, they're like, we need the blue text. But that was like a 2017 thing, I feel like. I don't know if that really matters anymore. I mean, there's ads everywhere. You're gonna say iPhone has a bunch of ads. I don't really think that's a reason to diss the iPhone. Mississippi State seems pretty solid this year. I don't know. I mean, I think they're 3-0. We'll see. The SEC is tough. I think they're gonna lose a lot of games. iPhone has green text. No, iPhone has blue text. If you're texting another iPhone, isn't it? It's blue text. If you're texting an Android, it's green text. Ads aren't everywhere if you use the right YouTube application. I never get YouTube ads. I use the YouTube Red, the subscription, which I mean, for me, it's definitely worth it. I'm not dealing with ads on YouTube. You think Michigan pulls a shocking win? It's not shocking. They're fucking 2-point favorites. There's no way that you could call that shocking. I mean, it's like a pick 'em, but if Michigan wins, it's not shocking. You had 10 of 10 baddies block you because of green text. Cap. Really, 10 of 10? I don't believe you, bruh. I'm the sole subscriber of YouTube Red. Tons of people use that, dude. Nobody wants ads, especially on mobile. Stocks are pumping. Is crypto pumping? It's because of the right cut. When is the meme coin bull run? Probably around Thanksgiving. Probably around Thanksgiving, Christmas. That's what I would say. Ten of 10 baddie. Bro, I doubt that, man. Maybe a 7. Need to get a Trump Mobile. Those get 10 of 10 baddies. Trump Mobile's where it's at. The pre-order has already been purchased. Eric Trump told me the Trump Mobile. Dude, the Trump Mobile is like a fucking... It's like a piece of shit, like Android type phone or something that they marked up like $300 or something. Hassan Destiny, especially the View has to go next. Yeah, but it's I mean, they would have to be canceled by whatever, whatever. I guess the social media. So I don't know what social media sites they're on. I know Hassan's on Twitch. Destiny, I think, is still on YouTube, and they're on Kick, I think. They're just going to go to Kick. They would just go to Kick, because Kick allows a lot. They would certainly allow them, for sure. California AB 1043 is a bill that'll likely pass. California bill impacts a lot. Think of the California health warnings on so many consumable products. They have Silicon Valley, that's all. It's soft digital ID, basically. Well, it definitely would pass in a liberal place first, for sure. A liberal state. If they try and slow roll that out. Only thing saving Hassan right now is the terms of service and the CEO not wanting to cave, but Hassan will find another platform. Yeah, they'll just go to Kick for sure. I think people would overrate if he got banned. Like, Kick is almost as big as Twitch at this point, I believe. Kick is like the more edgier, where they just allow a lot of speech and things like that, and it's kind of marketed that way. No, I'd rather keep my gene pool, man. Kick is to Twitch what Rumble is to YouTube. No, I mean, in the sense that, yeah, people that get banned go to Rumble from YouTube, but I think Kick has a lot more clout than Rumble does. Rumble, the media or the interface is bad on Rumble. I mean, you can still use it and stuff. The other thing is Rumble does have a copious amount of ads, and I know you could buy a plan to stop them, but I don't know. Something about Rumble's interface I think is bad. One percent of the population knows Rumble. Well, that's like, I mean, because it's new. You know, it's a new thing. So I mean, I guess it's not new anymore. Came out in what, like 2019, 2020 after all the cancellations. Huh. Rumble has a ton of ads. Rumble has like 3 ads every time you click on a video. That's the problem. YouTube had 2 like skippable ads when I used to not have YouTube Red. Console or PC? I play Xbox console. Green for Rumble was a bad choice. The color? Yeah, it's like slime almost. The green. But YouTube's got the red color, the red logo. I don't know what color they should have went with. Blue maybe for Rumble. They went with blue. No, that's not the dynamic with Asian women and white men. You're not presenting that right. That's not. It's normally upper echelon white men that go because intellectually, it's not a desperation thing. Normally, when it's an Asian woman and a white man. Yeah, I know. I saw the thing about Trump and Antifa. When do you get the silver play button? I already got it. You get it after you cross 100K. I got it over a year ago, bro. I got it like a year and a half ago at this point. Yeah, I think it depends on what woman you're talking about, although they can tend to be pretty average. They tend to be average. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this live stream. Thank you for watching. Jimmy Kimmel gone. We'll see. We'll see if he apologizes. See what happens. Bro, you called it. I mean, but all the streams are the same. They're always like slightly over 2 hours now. They always seem to be slightly over 2 hours. Yeah, they're probably going to let him back on in a week or something. He has to apologize, apparently. So, we'll see what ends up happening. Roblox stream. Dude, I have one Roblox video. It's going on. It's the Twin Towers. Exploring the Twin Towers. All right, I'll see you guys.